Hi YouTube. Here's a sample of some knit 2 purl 2 ribbing. And I've done part of it, about half of it actually, English style, which is this way, with the yarn held in your right hand, and of course you would then be working this onto your right needle. But I want to show you that you can get the exact same stitch. It looks the same in case you are switch knitting from one style to another in order to avoid sore hands, because like me you may have some arthritis. So I slip the first stitch as if to purl, and then of course the yarn goes behind the stitch. I like to twist my finger one more time with the yarn around my index finger. This is how my tension is held, and so you can stretch this out a little bit to see where the needle's going right through here, and then I pick it up like so. You can use your second finger as a helping finger. Now I'm going to Norwegian Purl. I'm going to show you one, sorry about clicking, and another. Your purl stitch is always formed with your yarn in front, but you can form it in front behind the work by putting it in front of your right needle. Then you go in the same way like you would normally purl. You come in from the back and you reach around, and you see it's going from back to front, and your tension is holding it on, and then you see the hole, how it's pulled out. You go right back through that hole, and then you can tighten your stitch. Again, up, through, around the back, and pick it up and come through. Now Norwegian Purl takes some practice in order to really see what you're doing. I actually purled one more than I wanted to, so I'm going to come here, take that out, and do it again. Now why would you want to go to all this trouble? Because it makes a beautiful rib. It's tighter than your regular purl that is formed by bringing your yarn to the front. And I'll show you, I do know how to make your regular purl. So you come through the stitch normally and come down here and you pull it through. Now some people like to pull it down here and leave it down there and then come up. I don't know why you have to come up twice, but they do. Either way you're making a purl, but generally that may not be as tight, and you get something that looks like ladders, almost like you are knitting on double pointed needles making socks. If you get a sloppy stitch here and a sloppy stitch there, and your ribbing doesn't look as nice. When you're the Norwegian Purl makes the purl tight, and it's just as tight as English style, which people say when they start knitting the Continental they get looser. But one of the things you want to have to keep the wind and the chill out is you want your cuffs around your sleeves, you want your ribbing at the bottom of the sweater or the collar to be pretty, but you also want to keep the draft out, and this helps to keep the draft out. Now you can also do the same stitch with not having to go back here. You can leave it in front, and instead of scooping it up here and then you're going behind, you scoop it up and you remain in front. Come in through here and then you wrap it the same. It's the same like it was behind, but you go through the stitch in front. It may be a little looser than your Norwegian Purl, but for most things it's hard to tell the difference. It's the same method, except you're not doing it behind, you're doing it in front of the work. It's hard to see by looking around with a camera in front of me. I guess I did a bit of yarn over there. Okay. Now I will show you that you can use that modified purl as a purl row. I'm going to just purl all the way across after I do my slip stitch with my modified purl. Put my yarn back on my index finger, So it's in, you wrap it, you come back through. It's very similar to how the German purl is made. I'm going to just purl every stitch. But the difference is that you really are holding it on your needle via tension. Now I do come in and often put my thumb down there for support. With German purl, I think they, I'll show you a German purl. They are actually using the index finger to support, but because of how I hold my hands when I purl, I'm basically supporting it with my thumb. And you can build quite a bit of speed, except when you get your yarn caught in your desk. And it makes a stitch if you're doing stockinette. One row after another, one row's knit, one row's purl. This particular purl is equal to the tension of your knit stitch. So long as you use the same tension and you build the rhythm, you end up with a beautiful stockinette stitch. So you don't have one row a little looser than another. And as it doesn't tend to make my hand as tired as doing the other purl stitch, I like this better. Now that one I wanted to knit. So there's a demonstration of Norwegian purl and ribbing and the modified purl, and I hope you enjoyed it.